In these difficult times, America needs a leader they can count on. And that leader is Pope Bob Iger. A Pope Bob Iger presidency means lower taxes, better schools, and Disney Plus for all Americans. He's already in the Vatican. Now, put him in the White House.
Hello, I am Pope Bob Iger. Not only do I want to be Pope, but I want to be your president. Vote for me or the Twitterati will cancel you and everyone you know.
When you cast your vote, vote for the one man who will make America the happiest place on earth. Pope Bob Iger.
I have Baby Yoda's vote. What about yours? I am Pope Bob Iger, and I am approving of this message.
Unknown caller. Spooky. Hello? Velma Dinkley speaking.
Hello, Velma. You like solving yourself a mystery?
Yeah, but I'm actually much more three-dimensional than that. Who is this?
This here Black Shaggy. You made the one black guy a drug dealer and a stoner. You gonna die, bitch.
Jinkies.
Norval? What are you doing here?
Black Shaggy need a minute to prepare for this. I got to know what I'm getting into. So do you like the back door or not? Black Shaggy don't want to read this in the newspaper, you dig? Inquiring minds want to know.
We have a student newspaper?
Bitch is dumb.
Hey! Who just threw a rock through my window?
Geo from the Crystal Mines. You should know that because your dumb bitch ass was born there.
The Crystal Mines? That old tourist attraction that's now a seagull toilet full of condoms?
Bitch is crass. That's right. From Lucasfilm, the studio that killed Han Solo, emasculated and then killed Luke Skywalker, and killed Princess Leia off camera, comes the epic fantasy. No, not Lord of the Rings. That's being ruined over at Amazon. The franchise that you kind of remember because Val Kilmer was in it, but now they just turned him into an absentee father. Willow. Meet Princess Kit, an entitled, bratty Gen Z character that for some reason is living in a medieval era. Kit's betrothed to Spider-Man's obnoxious fanboy Flash Thompson. But she has to be gay because diversity. Now she'll have to prove her worth to her true love, Envy's Nest. Together, they'll fail to stick to era-specific dialogue.
Well, you're gonna have to suck it up because I'm not gonna be able to survive this thing without you. It's like the one way you're totally consistent. Whoa, wait.
And set off with a crew of extras to find the title character, who only appears in the last 5 minutes of the first episode. Wow, this is really bad. I thought Obi-Wan was terrible. This outdoes it by a country mile. And why do you insist on putting Erin Kellyman in action properties? She's not convincing in anything, and she can't act. You might as well call her Erin Go Away Little Girl Kellyman, because that's what they actually say to her. Starring the worst group of G4 canceled X-Play D&D players in history, in World of Warcraft.
You have to be pretty daft to follow us, considering we're all gonna die.
The show is bad enough, but did you really have to include dwarf tossing? Seriously. From director James Cameron, who somehow prided himself away from exploring shipwrecks long enough to make the sequel to a movie that comes a decade too late to mean anything to anyone, and gave the movie industry an excuse to charge us all an extra $5 to wear goofy-looking glasses that will end up giving you a headache. Avatar 2: Way of the Water. Return to Pandora, where the Na'vi live in harmony with nature. Wait a minute. See an outsider who enters their midst and learns their ways. Hold on. Then their society will be upended as the white man begins to migrate into their lands and exploit their ecosystem for resources. Hold on, you're just making the same movie again, which itself was a remake of Dances with Wolves, with blue people. You took 13 years to make a sequel to a movie that was already made? Twice? I mean, at least change it up a little bit. Starring CGI, more CGI, and more CGI. Really? I might as well be playing a video game at this point. At least I can interact with that. Don't miss Dances with Smurfs, Under the Sea. You know, James, you just want to make underwater documentaries at this point, so just go back to making those for PBS and leave us alone, please.
Coming up on the CW, it's prom night, and love is in the air.
until it's time to throw down. Sam and Miguel share a tender moment, but look who's crashing the party. Watch as young couples share a romantic dance, and fight, and dance fight. Be sure to watch an extra special episode of Kung Fu High Prom Night. Today's episode brought to you by food. If you're hungry, have some food and air. It's got what your lungs crave. Now, let's get on with it. Thomas in the morning, WMBC, Thomas in the morning, WMBC, we go around ball there. Mike Green Sports, WMBC. Now Robot Slow Mo, WMBC, Thomas in the morning, WMBC, you got Twitter, got Animal News, Thomas in the morning, WMBC, Thomas in the morning, Super Sales coming up, Thomas in the morning, I would drive home. But in the smoother, Ross Osler, that's boy. WNBC, WNBC. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing out there in radio land? I consider this radio, even though it's primarily a visual medium. I do consider this radio because I'm a cinema on WNBC. So what do we got today? We got probably more hockey talk. We probably got more. Probably going to have some animal news. Probably going to do some little something. Baby Yoda's head to the trash heap. Oh, boy, that's not good. Let's take a look and see who's in the chat. Morbid Fury is in the chat. Andrew Helm is in the chat. Anthony Way is in the chat. Holocron Records is in the chat. Senior Sticks is in the chat. Who else? Donnie Pierce is in the chat. Peg Leg Pete is in the chat. Donnie Pierce is in the chat again. Johnny Ma is in the chat. Clint Matthews is in the chat. Everybody. You know, I don't have the biggest audience, but I have probably the best looking audience in all of YouTube. Let's check in on the cat cam. We're going to check in on the cat cam. Let's see what our buddy's doing. There he is. He's behind the curtain. Pay no attention to that cat behind the curtain. DJ Ray's in the chat. How you doing? Yeah, checking on the cat cam. What is the cat doing? The cat is actually just chilling out. The cat is actually just chilling out, just being a cat. He's just kind of chilling. So anyway, there's the cat cam. We'll check in on him later, see if he does anything, and we will check in on it. So anyway, talk about Christmas coming early. First of all, I want to thank everyone who shows up for the Hitman streams. Those are a lot of fun. I tried, as I might, do the Sapienza. I'm doing some of the levels over again so I can get some of the unlocks. But I tried in Sapienza I could not get the dongle to destroy the virus remotely. So I had to do it the hard way. But hey, you could always do it again. But those are a lot of fun. I will be playing Mad Max soon. I will be playing Mad Max. I'm thinking about starting over NBA 2K. So that's just because the guy I created is I kind of want a little faster guy on his feet. And the guy is 6'10", 6'11" power forward, playing center. I want a guy who's going to handle the ball more. Phrasing. So I'm probably going to start again on that. And hopefully I'm going to be able to pick up I killed Bob Pope Bob. That was evil Pope Bob. That was evil Pope Bob. And I didn't kill him. I just knocked him out and just put him in the thing. But I did kill the lady scientist lady, and Hitman by putting her in a vat of acid or something. Well, she never knew what hit her. Yeah, so anyway, Christmas did come a little early again. We got word this week that Star Trek Discovery, like all things, I'm not calling it a good thing, all things must come to an end. And one of those things, fortunately, is Star Trek Discovery. Dear God. I don't get it. I don't get how it lasted this long. You know, she had it coming. She was working on a virus, and she had it coming. But Star Trek Discovery is coming to an end. Whatever shall we do? You know, our lives are going to be so much emptier without Star Trek Discovery, without Mikey Spock. Just Mikey Spock was the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega. She showed us the way. She was the one that was going to unite us all. And in her small way, she did. She united us into showing us just how bad a television program could be. Yeah, but we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Yes, it should have. You're right. Mikey Spock showed us that without her, there would be no Kirk. There would be no Spock. There would be no Enterprise. There would be no Federation. There would be nothing. It was all about her. And that is exactly what we hated about her. The fifth Paramount Plus sci-fi drama will embark on its final voyage in the upcoming fifth season. Sources say principal filming on the season's mostly complete. But with this move to end the show, there will be additional filming to help craft a conclusion for the series. The fifth and final season will premiere in early 2024. That paragraph means to me, and someone else pointed this out, they were probably ready to go to a sixth season, but they got canceled. This got canceled. This has been canceled, so they're trying to cover that up. Launched in 2017, Discovery is credited with successfully. You serious? Launching a new era of Trek on TV. The series starring Seneca Martin Green was heralded as the first show headed by a black female lead, plus marked other firsts along the way in LGBTQIA plus EIEIO. Shamalama ding dong, wamalama ding dong, bing 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 bum away. EIEIO representation. Sorry, we just gotta cover all of that. As well as pioneered more serialized storytelling for the 50-year-old franchise. Discovery helped launch a CBS streaming service, then called CBS All Access. Currently stands at Paramount Plus's longest running drama. The success of you're honestly calling this a success. Success of Discovery led to a multitude of other Trek projects being developed. No, it was a success. It was not a success. It was Alex Kurtzman throws everything against the wall. What Alex Kurtzman did is he had a bunch of spinoffs. He went out and he had an ironclad he had a good contract. Something tells me there was a huge penalty in there. We did stories about that at the old podcast, where that if he got himself an ironclad contract from Les Moonves on the way out the door. Les Moonves is on his way out the door, and Kurtzman Yeah, let's suck on this. So he had to have a player pay contract. They had to pay some kind of same thing with Mindy Kaling for Velma. They canceled. They're probably going to pay a penalty. Now that Star Trek Discovery is going to end soon, who do you think would be best showrunners? I cannot answer that. Everybody says Ronald D. Moore. I'm going to say Seth MacFarlane because of how good the Orville is. Really, we don't need Star Trek since we have the Orville. A 5-year run for a TV show success. Trek nerds can handle black women in the captain's chair. Oh, we're more than willing to handle a black woman in the captain's chair. We don't give a shit. We don't care about that. It was just so bad. Of course, you know what? I asked a bunch of people what they thought about hearing the news, and we talked to some people on the street, and this is what they had to say when we got word that Star Trek Discovery was canceled. So the crowd elated. Someone once said the show TV ending isn't always a good thing. I agree, yet neither is a bad thing for this matter. Despite Prodigy being my number one current Star Trek show, TNG being my golden age, I'm looking forward to futures that are not co-produced by secret. Yes, well, we're gonna have to see about that. They may move to being secret. They may move to just being them in just a backseat role. Just because the show gets renewed doesn't mean successful. Executives meddle, pick winners and losers. Yes. If Mikey Spock was a better written character, you ain't just whistling Dixie. My friend asked Admiral Nagaro say Captain final episode Star Trek continues may take a while. Has nothing to do with race. Why is all? Yes. Brand Braga would have been the best showrunners. Fortunately, they wouldn't touch New Trek with a barge pole. It's true. So anyway, when we first started talking about Return to Star Trek 8 years ago, we could never have imagined the indelible impact Star Trek with Discovery would have. David Staff, president of CBS Studios. The series brought back beloved global franchise and then shat all over it. And just like its predecessors, Discovery honored. No, it didn't. Honor Trek's legacy of infinite diversity, but you're only paying lip service to that. We're saying the best of what we can do as humans when we celebrate our differences. The move comes on the heels of Paramount Plus announcing another member of the Trek team, Star Trek Picard, will wrap with its current 3rd season. The Discovery team issued statements about the decision. Executive producers and co-showrunners Alex Klutzman and Michelle Paradise, who wrote, as lifelong fans of Alex Kurtzman was never a fan of Star Trek. He was never a fan of Star Trek. It has been an immense honor and privilege to help bring Star Trek Discovery to the world. The Trek universe means so much to so many, including us. And we couldn't be prouder of everything. Oh, for God's sake. Where's my... I don't have an Archie Bunker clip. I found my Archie Bunker clip. I'm going to have to edit this at some point. Kurtzman never liked it. Going to talk about Brittany Vandy, Christy Moore, copyright striking people. Yeah. We'll talk about that. So yeah, there's been some YouTube drama. We're going to cover that. Discovery team. Okay. Yeah. Trek universe means so much to so many, including us. We couldn't be prouder of everything Discovery has contributed to its legacy, particular representation, You say representation because you don't have anything else. If just one person sees themselves, this shit again. If one person sees themselves or the possibilities for their future in a new way, because what is this? What is this? Fortnite? You select a bunch of skins and you can press continue? Or a possibility for their future in a new way because Discovery, then we think we've made Gene Roddenberry. Yeah, but all they're doing is that they can fail up. All they're learning is they can fail upwards. That's all. Name one thing Mikey Spock did successfully besides fail upward. She effed up all the time. She effed up all the time. And they still bent over backwards to make sure she was right. They bent the universe around her to make sure that she was right. I think Gene Roddenberry would be proud of. Of course, there should be no Discovery without Seneca Martin Green, extraordinary team of artists, both in front and behind the camera, who brought this show to life. Their passion, determination, especially yada, 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 yada. Discovery should become a family over the years. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Martin Green, I can hardly believe that this mind-blowing journey with Discovery is ending. And neither can we. What took it so long? For crying out loud. For God's sake. It's unfathomable. It really is. It's unfathomable. They really like love to smell their own farts, don't they? They only brought Pike in to make Mikey more credible. Yeah, well, the other thing too is they needed something. They needed something. Let's fly. How long did they have to? How long did they pain over that? How long? Because it comes across as so fake and phony. 65 episodes later. God help us if it goes in syndication. Departure Discovery secures a spin-off. Strange New Worlds, the undisputed new captain of the Paramount Plus Starfleet. Yeah. Strange New Worlds embraced more Planet of the Week style original series and launched last May to 99% positive. Well, you give people crap. I mean, they're going to, anything that's halfway decent, they're going to. Crispin has also teased the development of another potential spin-off, Star Trek Academy, which would focus. We've been hearing about that for a while now, but in his hands, I don't trust him. I don't trust anything as far as you can throw him. But this leads us to the other thing about Star Trek Discovery. I mean, really, seriously, it's really astounding that people say it's a success. I mean, we're seeing stories here that Discovery is not as popular as people think it is. People want to believe. And then granted, the source is kind of dodgy, so just take it with a grain of salt. Most people don't believe Star Trek Discovery fans exist. They don't, because they fucking don't. They fucking don't. You know who, what Star Trek, you know who are fans of Discovery? Listen, this comes back to this whole thing. Now, let me get him a second here. I got my glass of water here. I got to get a drink because I need to drink when I'm doing this. Star Trek Discovery is one of those things that defies all scientific explanation. And I'll tell you why. Let's get myself an apple, because I've got to pretend I'm eating healthy. Star Trek Discovery. Now, ladies and gentlemen of this supposed jury, Star Trek, the people who, and listen, I have no doubt they're doing this. The people who always seem to say they love Star Trek. Oh, Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek. Oh, it's always the same shit on social media that you see. You see people saying, I've never watched Star Trek, but this is the best Star Trek show I've ever seen. Well, if you've never watched Star Trek, then how is the best Star Trek show you've ever seen? You see that? See what I did there? The response to our Twitter poll revealed that most people believe Star Trek fans, Discovery fans, are fake. They are! Recently, it was announced that upcoming Star Trek Season 5, Paramount Plus show Star Trek Discovery, which is dropping sometime in 2024, will be its last. This led to many fan accounts expressing sadness at the prospect of no new Discovery. However, we conducted a recent Twitter poll and discovered something shocking. Most respondents believe that the majority of fan accounts gushing over the show are completely fake. As of this writing, 17% of the respondents said there were no fake accounts for Star Trek Discovery. Meanwhile, 16% of the respondents believe 20% of the fan accounts are fake. Shockingly, though, 20% of the respondents believe half of the fan accounts are fake, and a whopping 47% of the respondents believe that at least 80% of the fan accounts are fake. These numbers reflect an interesting tension regarding Star Trek Discovery, reflecting in the larger fan discussions online. For example, many give the show props for being the first televised Star Trek show since Enterprise went off the air. I'm not. We would have been better off. We would have been better off with no Star Trek. And they point out that we wouldn't have such awesome newer shows. No, those were course corrections. Stranger Worlds and Lower Decks, those were course corrections. Those were them adjusting on the fly. He says, are you bites more apple? Harsher fans have pointed out, though, that the success of Strange New Worlds, which was returned to episodic storytelling in stark contrast to the season-long mystery arcs on Discovery and Picard, has highlighted all the ways Discovery is starting to show its age. If there really are a small legion of fake fan accounts for Star Trek Discovery, it wouldn't be surprising, for example, that there's been speculation on Star Trek Reddit for years that CBS astroturfs the platform and suppresses genuine criticism. They do. CBS suppress. Listen, this happened on the old podcast. This happens to Mega's channel. This happens to everybody. Anybody who says negative reactions to Star Trek Discovery either gets flagged, or they try to copyright strike. They try to copyright strike you for using the footage. They try their hardest to suppress it, and they sick their dogs on you. It is absolutely true. It is absolutely true. They move heaven and earth. They move heaven and earth to try and suppress any negative reaction to Star Trek Discovery. We experienced that on the old channel when I was still over there, and it happens to a lot of other channels. It happens to Egotastic Fun Time, from what I've heard. It happens to Robert Meyer Burnett. It happens to a lot of them. If they're really small, you think you can. Okay, yes, AstroTurf. Yeah, when you think about it, creating a bunch of fan accounts on Twitter, which are likely to be automated bots, will be far easier than actively moderating online fan communities such as Reddit for the better part of the past decade. Regardless of the possible fan accounts, many have been speculating why CBS is suddenly willing to let their flagship show go with such little fanfare. Discovery is not supposed to end with this season, and the actors had to go back to shoot additional scenes to give the series a proper ending because it's being canceled. That's why. Some have speculated actors' contracts are expiring. The CBS doesn't want to deal with salary negotiations, while others think that Strange New Worlds with familiar characters like Pike, Spock, and iconic Starship Enterprise being set up as the new flagship show. More than likely, those wondering how many Star Trek Discovery fan accounts may want to monitor these accounts after the show ends, see if they gush about the new Trek shows or disappear. They're going to disappear. They're going to disappear. It might sound that might sound impossible, but not right for the right person. After all, if Trek has taught us anything, that you shouldn't believe in the no-win scenario. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Now, so where does this leave Star Trek? The Orville wouldn't exist. Actually, the Orville. You're right in a weird way, Holocron. Seth MacFarlane said for years, there's two shows he wanted to do. One was the Flintstones, because he used to be an animator for Hanna-Barbera. Actually, one of his first jobs in Hollywood in the TV industry was voicing Fred Flintstone. Yabba dabba doo. Hey man, yeah, I got it. Penny was changing in front of the window. I got an erection. But this also brings up the other part of this. Now, people are asking, what will happen with all the Drekkies that made this discovery, the whole thing? You know what? They're going to be adrift. They're going to be adrift, and they'll find something else. So let's take a look here. Now, here's the other thing about this. People are asking, and Trek, was it TrekMovie.com? TrekMovie.com. They ask a pretty good question here. Where does this leave the franchise as a whole? Now they speculate this is peak Trek. This is not peak Trek. The mid-90s were peak Trek. We had movies. We had 4 television series. I mean, for God's sake. Someone once said, we believe all in this alternate universe, and that's okay. Star Trek is a multiverse. I'm totally cool with that statement. Hey, Fish Jones. That's a cool name. Fish Jones. Damage is done. It's 4 seasons too late. The hotel is trash beyond repair. This is a hotel as if Keith Moon and John Bonham and everybody else and Mick Jagger and everybody were just let loose for a weekend. That's a data reference. Speaking of CBS, 3 days, Denver, Kansas City, Channel News, CBS Colorado, CBS News Colorado. But okay, so they're asking, where does this leave Trek? So now here is one of the things. CBS and Paramount and whatever the hell they're calling it these days. Paramount is cutting costs. They want to return to profitability, and they're cutting costs. So Star Trek is a very expensive show to produce because of all the visual effects. Now, they think they're going to go forward with Strange New Worlds as a season 3, but it hasn't been announced yet. Lower Decks hasn't been announced yet. So these two haven't been announced. Lower Decks season 5 and Strange New Worlds season 3. Now, they're talking about the Alex Kurtzman conceived Starfleet Academy. Now, on paper, that might seem like a good idea, but it's not, and I'll tell you why. 2 words, Alex Kurtzman. Alex Kurtzman will have one character as Jesus, and everybody else will just bend over backwards to appease them. Section 31, I don't believe Section 31 is happening. This probably has the best chance of happening. Star Trek Legacy, a Picard spinoff, Terry Matalas, because they're setting up Picard's son, quote-unquote son, played by Ed Speleers, and setting up Jerry Ryan. Terry Matalas and the season 3 cast of Star Trek Picard, including a number of TNG vets, have made no secret about their pitch for a spinoff series, likely starring Jerry Ryan as the captain of the USS Titan. Or the Almost Enterprise. Other members of the season 3 would carry over, like Michelle Hurd, Ed Speleers, Ashley Sharp Chestnut, and Mika Burton, who's LeVar Burton's daughter, as series regulars, because, of course, everybody has to inherit their job. However, it's a bit early for Paramount Plus to get behind this idea, with season 3 just getting started. They will want to gauge fan reaction before diving in. I think this is already a go. They're just waiting to announce it. I really do think that this is already a go. Janeway, no, and this is the worst idea of all. Star Trek Janeway. Please, for the love of God, do not bring Kate Mulgrew. I love you. Okay, Kate Mulgrew, you are fantastic. I love you as Janeway. I loved you in Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. You were terrific on Cheers. But please, run away from this as fast as possible. My God, this is the worst idea I've heard. For God's sake. I do not trust them as far as I can throw them. Please, if you want to bring her in as maybe an admiral in a Starfleet Academy show done by somebody else, then fine. Because that's what you should have. You should have like an older Riker or a Janeway as the commandant of Starfleet Academy. She's already back in Prodigy. Yeah, but that's her hologram. That's a hologram. So that's, she was great in Warehouse 13. I think I might have my thing for older women because of her. I don't know. But I digress. Janeway was a hard ass. Prodigy season 3 is the next year question, so they're going to wait to renew Prodigy. Listen, Janeway, you didn't screw around with Janeway. Janeway was the type of character, because it was only her. It was her that was in charge. There was no Starfleet. She had to be a hard ass because they weren't going to survive. Catherine Janeway was the only representation, there's that word, of Starfleet and the Federation in the Delta Quadrant, and she had to deal with a bunch of defiant Maquis. She had to deal with a bunch of. She had to keep. If people started disobeying orders, she was going to have chaos on her hands, and they were never going to get home. She threw Tom Paris in the brig and demoted him. That's how much of a hard ass she was. The first time Mikey Spock would open her mouth, disobeying orders, she would have turned to her, Burnham, my office now. And she would dress her down in private. I could totally picture that scene. I can totally picture Janeway, she would always start fair, but then she would just let you know who was in charge. She would let you know who was the boss. Janeway would say, she would say, I value the opinions of my senior officers. I wouldn't be a very good captain if I didn't. But I am responsible for the lives of everyone on this ship. And I am the only representation of Starfleet we have in the Delta Quadrant. And if he would tell, look her dead in the eye, if you so much as question another order on my bridge and undermine my authority, I will not hesitate to relieve you of your command, of your post, and you will spend the rest of this voyage in the brig. Do I make myself clear? But Captain Janeway, do I make myself clear, Mr. Burnham? You know damn well she would have done. Do I make myself clear, Mr. Burnham? And the only answer to that question is yes, I do. That would have been awesome. And then she would have ejected Michael Burnham into escape pod into the Delta Quadrant, never to be heard from again. I am. Well, actually, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah, Tuvok would have. Tuvok did make a few errors, but Mikey Spock would have. Tuvok had a couple errors, but he weighed the logic of the situation before he would have done that. Mikey Spock would have lasted 2 seconds before tears started. And he would have said, and she would have said, Burnham, if you cannot compose yourself and conduct yourself as a Starfleet officer, you are relieved of duty until you can. She was great alongside Commander Chakotay. It was a good way of showing female community. Yeah. Exactly. And I say Voyager has aged better now. And dear God, I love that theme. I love that theme. People have said it to the Orville, which works astoundingly well. But season 4, I think season 4 was probably some of the best Voyager. Seska, she was a saint compared to Chris. Oh God. Oh yeah. Now I gotta address this. So that was Trek. I didn't play the Trek bumper. No, let's play the Trek bumper on the way out. Here we go. Yep. So that is the week in Trek news. Now I gotta address something here. Now there's some drama about YouTubers going down. And it's being talked over on another YouTube channel. I don't want to spend a whole lot more time on this. But there are a couple of YouTubers. Hold on a second. Let me play a commercial, because somebody else could probably explain this better.
Need a new car? Looking for that business vehicle or armaments to conquer a small nation? At Cobra Commander's Sharp Auto Sales, we want to put you in your next vehicle. We have everything to meet your work, family, or military needs. Check out this His Tank. It can be yours for no money down and only $2.99 a month. Need something more versatile? How about this Stinger Jeep? Fully armored, missile launcher included. Only 40,000 miles, most of which are non-combat. We've also got Rattlers, Night Ravens, and the all-new Ford Escape. And now we're offering 0 payments for 6 months, or until Destro can formulate a plan to take over the banks. Remember, at Cobra Commander's Sharp Auto Sales, we're not just a car dealer. We're an evil terrorist organization determined to rule the world. And we're certified by the Better Business Bureau. So come on down to Cobra Commander's Sharp Auto Sales for a test drive on Route 1 in Springfield. Follow the signs at the bomb craters. Free balloons for the kids. Come on down! Cobra!
All right, we brought in someone who knows a little bit more about this than I do. Who are you and why are you here?
I'm Mecca. I like gossip and drama, and I hate EHO people.
So what happened?
Hypocrites. Okay, so a while back, everybody got on this advocacy for human trafficking and blah blah. Well, they all formed a
mob, M-O-B-E.
Well, no. They formed a social justice Twitter sort of. You know how they virtue signal.
Yeah.
That was their big thing that they were gonna fake activism about. And I gave you an animal.
Okay, yeah.
Remember the Queen's Yorkies.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Anyway, so what was I talking about? Fake activism, human trafficking. So they found this woman, Eliza Blue, who had some questionable videos back in the day from when she was taken advantage of. Basically, the cancel mob came and said, that's not good enough. You're not a little kid, and we only care as little kids. So Eliza Blue decided to use whatever she could to get these videos removed. So she went and copyrighted them. Now they found out, I guess they sat down with Eliza Blue, or this was a long time ago when they sat down with her. They basically, right to their face, they realized that, yes, sometimes women, when they are trafficked, are grown adults doing things for cameras, because they're being used, they're being housed, they're being drugged, they're being whatever.
In other words, that's
the very thing that they're mad at her for doing is basically the thing that. Anyway, so they're going around striking videos that showcase this being spelled out right in front of their face. It's like, hey, you dumb hoes, you're literally mad at the person who is the victim of the thing, doing the thing. So now they're going around striking videos and DMCAing people using footage of them being proven to be, a cancel mob, because there's this whole thing where they decided that they were entitled to get on Tim Pool. There was this whole, because that was the hierarchy of the cult. It's just a weird, So basically now they're mundane matting everybody. So Chrissy Mayer and Brittany Vance are mundane mat.
They're being very mundane.
Yeah,
and they're going to the mat with this
by copyright striking channels.
See what I did there?
For exposing them for doing this. So they're doing that, and I think people like the Quartering really need to be held accountable, because he was one of the people kind of flaming the fires of the hate mob towards this woman. He was one of the people promoting the cancel mob by saying, hey, Tim Pool, why aren't you saying something? So I think the Quartering now needs to be in that. I think I need to be the one to pick down on him. Or, hey, Quartering, say something.
I thought Chrissy Mayer was just angry somebody stole a joke that she stole.
Probably.
Yeah. But like I said, not cool what's happening. So everybody, like you said, not cool. So knock it off. that's what I got there. You want the rest of that? Okay. So that, knock it off, people. It's not cool. And the cat is.
So that just exposes that Chrissy Mayer and Brittany Venti are basically phonies. They will DMCA people despite saying freedom of speech. She copyrighted me. So they'll do the same damn thing.
Well, Brittany Venti actually was stupid enough to admit she costed us money. This is a business.
Well, she's so dumb. She doesn't realize that the very thing she's upset by is looking at her right in the face. So yes, hello, human trafficked or the person.
So yeah.
God, Brittany Venti's an idiot.
Yeah. So okay. So
that's what's going
what else? Okay. So do we want to move on? So knock it off, people. Don't do this. Not cool. Totally not cool.
Unless you want to cancel Chrissy Mayer.
So yeah. So okay. So with that out of the way. Yes, and rightfully so. I haven't been talking about it, and that's the most I'm going to talk about it. That's right. Black Jack is saying, knock it off, knock that shit off. That's right. So, anyway, on to the next topic. We have not really Star Wars news, but does anybody have Funko Pops out there? If you do, then not that they're going to be heading the same way, going the same way as the ET cartridges, but as Beanie Babies. But just for a little bit of collector news, they overproduced and they're going to dump $30 million worth of them into a landfill. Oh God! For God's sake. $38 million, over $30 million worth of Funkos headed to the landfill. I don't get the Funkos. This is all I'm going to say about this. I don't get the whole Funkos. I don't understand it. They all look exactly the same. They're for people who want to put them on their desk and just say, "Oh, look, I got a Batman," or you give them somebody, here's a Funko. I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't. I really don't. To me, they're just not cool. I don't get it. I just it's just me. But anyway, they overproduced and they overestimated demand. Now they're going to be buried alongside the Atari cartridges out in New Mexico. Now that's just me speculating, but okay. So the Funkos are not a good investment. Okay, so let's move on to sports. Sports. Could you post a link of that news, please? I'll look forward to two real fans. I want to forward to two fans of these garbage. Oh, the Funkos. The Funkos? Hang on. Yeah, we'll hang on. We'll let me get you that link for the Funkos. Hang on. Yeah. Now, Al Rosen, former president of the New York Yankees, and a former player. So here's part of what I'm not a huge fan of expansion in sports leagues because ultimately what happens is you get a watered down product. At the same time, like franchise relocation, if you have a team in one area, part of the country, and it's not succeeding, then listen, I feel bad for people who lose their team, but at the same time, and I do think it is sort of, I don't want to say it's a city's responsibility, but as for a city, any town should listen. You got to protect your citizens. You got to make sure they're treated fairly. But if you have something like this, you should be willing to protect it. I lived in a town where I'm from a town that practically rented a moving van for their minor league baseball team to move out. So, and I still have a lot of lingering resentment over that. Okay. But now I'm seeing rumblings that the National Hockey League wants to return to Atlanta. Where the frick did I just... Here it is. Which I don't really understand why. Now, from what I've been told, the Thrashers were actually doing well. Then there was a change of ownership, and it resulted, it ultimately drove the attendance down. With the right ownership, maybe they can succeed, but I've seen a lot of franchise relocations over the years. Kansas City moved to Seattle, the Oakland, California, the Golden Seals. They moved to Kansas City. Then they moved to Denver, or Colorado Rockies, and then they moved to New Jersey. They've been in New Jersey ever since. The Minnesota North Stars moved to Dallas. The Winnipeg Jets moved to the Winnipeg Jets moved to Phoenix. The Whalers moved to Carolina. Who the freak moved to Cleveland? There was a team. Which team became the Barons? To me, that's a mystery. Like, why are the Cleveland? Why there's no team in Cleveland? You can't even get any Cleveland Barons NHL merchandise. It was the Golden Seals that moved to Cleveland. Rather, it wasn't the Scouts. it's tough to even find information on the Cleveland Barons. And then they merged, quote unquote, with the Minnesota North Stars. It ceased operations. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Where did Cat go? Cat is over here. Yeah, so I got the stories wrong. The Kansas City Scouts were an expansion team, and then they became the Colorado Rockies. Then they moved to New Jersey. They played in the Swamp. Why put a hockey team where in Atlanta? They've been trying to make hockey work in the South, in the Southern United States, and it hasn't. Not that it hasn't worked; it's worked in select areas. But the whole problem with hockey is it's a very regional sport. You need people in it around it who already like it. Like if for Florida, it makes more sense because you have a lot of transplanted New Yorkers, a lot of people transplanted from the Northeast. It makes more sense for Minnesota because it's cold, a lot of natural ice. People are fans of hockey. It's relatively close to Canada. Canada, it makes more sense. The other thing too is that it also makes sense. I don't want to say sense on the West Coast, but you do kind of need teams on the West Coast because Vancouver's out there all alone playing with no natural rival. Now Vancouver finally does have a natural rival in Seattle. Gary Bettman he's a very astute businessman. He worked in the NBA for years. The NBA, how they pride themselves on geographic rivalries in north-south corridors. So you had Miami being the rival. Miami Heat had to build itself back up with LeBron. But you had New York, Boston, Washington, Philly as the rivals. And then New York, Chicago, Indiana, those were natural rivals. Charlotte, so it makes more sense. The geography of the NBA made more sense for a long time than the geography of the NHL. Gary Bettman comes in. He says, "Listen, we're gonna realign the conferences. What we're doing doesn't make sense." But I still don't get it. Like they had 2 tries at a team. The Atlanta Flames, which became the Calgary Flames, and the Thrashers. According to new reports coming about the NHL, league administration is looking to expand the league. Their focus is on growing hockey, the growing U.S. hockey market, which poses lucrative in opportunity. Henceforth, the NHL has decided to bring back a team in Atlanta. As the Facebook page Hooked on Hockey magazine posted the update, several NHL fans hopped on to share their opinions about this decision from the league. However, the NHL hasn't made any official announcement. Yet potential sources like ESPN broadcaster John Buccigross and NRD have been tweeting about this news on their official Twitter account. Let us look at what the NHL fans have to say about this update. Is the NHL looking to put a team back in Atlanta? After successful inclusion of teams like Las Vegas Golden Knights, and actually, Vegas for the hockey team does make sense because their nearest rival is Los Angeles, which is 4 hours away. And their other rival is Phoenix, which is 4 hours away. And they have San Jose, which is maybe 6-7 hours away. Okay, so then you have Vancouver, which is a little farther, but you have a geographic rivalry. Plus, it's a bigger market. It's untapped. They haven't had an NHL team before. Moreover, Bones says, I was looking to introduce another team in the market into the league. Moreover, according to the sources, the new team may be a reincarnation of the Atlanta Thrashers, Previously, when Atlanta was part of the NHL, it had faced a couple of setbacks since its introduction in the NHL in 1999. Further, in 2003, ownership was changed, and then in 2011, due to long-plaguing financial problems, the team yet again reached a dead end. Currently, the sources are directing towards a comeback of Atlanta in the NHL. Potential buyers will line up for it. ESPN broadcaster John Buccigross tweeted about the possibility of return to Atlanta to the NHL, asking his followers to stay tuned. Moreover, another closely NHL following Twitter account, NHL Rumors Daily, I got to follow these, soon updated fans with the same news, further revealing the reason behind the idea. It's not imminent. It's not a guarantee, just that the league is very interested in the idea, and there's a solid group willing to make it happen. What else do you know about this? Expanding in Atlanta seems very odd. NHL fans shared contrasting opinions bringing back the Atlanta Thrashers. Due to the unsuccessful past of Atlanta in the league, there are multiple views on the subject introducing back the team. On one hand, where fans were excited to see Atlanta back in the league, whereas other fans objected to this decision to bring back a team that has failed twice in the past. Here's some reactions from fans. Yes, we deserve it. We outdrew Nashville several years in a row. This former STH spent several years working towards keeping the team here. Shame on Gary Bettman and management group. Let's go Thrashers. Bring the Thrashers back. I'd like the team back in the time when I was a kid, even if I wasn't old enough to understand all. Contrastingly, disappointed fans expressed their views, giving specific reasons in the comment section. They wrote, what happened to Houston and KC? Atlanta's a terrible idea. Should do Cleveland or Omaha before they do Omaha. I don't see Omaha, Nebraska? Omaha, Nebraska. Are you serious? Omaha already has a college rink the team can use. Omaha? Where the Omaha, Nebraska arena? Where the CHI Health Center? Is that what he's talking about? The CHI Health Center? What's the capacity? 17,500. What's the capacity for hockey? Listen, I'm not adverse to the idea, but Omaha's a lousy choice. Yeah, good. So yeah, Baxter Arena, University of Nebraska, athletics, Baxter. So the choices are Baxter Arena or the CHI Health Center. Baxter Arena is not a choice. It's 7,800 for hockey. So that's off the table. The league is not going to let a team move into a sub 8,000 8,000 or less arena, especially not that the Coyotes are playing in a 5,000 seat arena. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Baxter Arena is off the table. The CHI Center. What is the CHI Center capacity for hockey? Forget the CHI Center. Listen, let me pull up a map here. Hold on. NHL map. Okay, we're going to take a look at where the teams are. Okay. This is a map of the. I didn't want to freaking. I just want the image, dumbass. Okay, this is a map of the NHL as it currently is. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. That's actually not a bad. The art San Jose came up with for these jerseys the year the Barons merged with them. Rob, you got a picture of it on Facebook? Sure, okay. But one of the things I don't care. Capacity hockey. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm not saying I'm not saying, okay, 17,100 for hockey, CHI Arena for Nebraska. I'm not saying Nebraska, Omaha can't support a team, but I'm just saying that it's not the first choice. Don't do it. Atlanta has failed 3 times. Atlanta is not a hockey town. I know. I lived in Atlanta for 22 years. And went to a couple Thrashers games. Best sleep I ever had. Hockey's a failure in the South. I lived outside Jacksonville, 5 hours from Atlanta. They don't care for the sport. And no lessons were learned. Let me take a look at the art for the... So, okay, so, all right. So here is the map of the NHL as it's currently represented. So, okay, where's the freaking map? NHL map. Here we go. All right, so here's the map here. So you have Colorado. So you have Vegas. Look, you have Vegas. These teams in a geographic rivalry here. Yeah, buddy. You have Dallas, which Dallas would benefit more. Dallas would benefit from Houston being in the league. It would generate a rivalry there. But you have these teams here, all in this geographic area, the Southwest Division. You have these teams here. This is the pre-Seattle team thing. You have Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton. Okay, Winnipeg's kind of remote. You have the Wild. You have the Blackhawks. You have St. Louis, Nashville. So these teams are all geographic rivals here. So you have these. This is the Metro Division here. Okay, so you have the Lightning at the Florida Panthers. So, okay, so these here. So they're thinking Atlanta. You know, looking at the map, I'm thinking, why not New Orleans? I'm thinking New Orleans is a better fit. It's an untapped market for hockey. You already have basketball. Why the fuck not New Orleans? Okay, so this was the original. Okay, we'll show that actually in a minute here. I can't help but think. That New Orleans is a better fit. So you have Nebraska here. Obviously, the rivalry would be Colorado. They're thinking Colorado would be the natural rival for Nebraska, for Omaha. But at the same time, it's Omaha. Listen, I'm going to sound like one of those smug New Yorkers. It's fucking Omaha. Good luck trying to get guys to play out there. I'm sorry, it's in the middle of nowhere. Explain the NHL team Vegas, the Vegas Knights. They were originally going to be called the Vegas Black Knights. But the United States Army has, that's their team, the Vegas Black Knights. There's Saskatoon. Yeah, I threatened to move to Saskatoon. Actually, yeah, there have been rumblings of Saskatoon getting a team for a while. I just don't get it. I just don't get Omaha. Why would you even suggest Omaha? Why? Why would you? Like I said, Omaha is. I would put another team in Cleveland before I put a team in Omaha. That's again, like I said. Listen, Denver's a big city. Okay, Phoenix is a big city. Vegas is a big city. LA is a big city. Anaheim, near Vegas. Anaheim. Look, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4, 5. You have 5 teams all in the geographic within geographic rivalry. They're doing a geographic rivalry here. You might as well, if you're going to put a team in Omaha, you might as well put a team in Billings, Montana, or Provo. Again, I'm sorry, I don't want. I'm sounding like a smug New Yorker. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Not every city wants or will support a pro sports team. Look how vacant. But I'm just astounded at the suggestion. Move them to Omaha. And I've been hearing Hartford, and a lot of people have been saying Hartford, give Hartford another team. Give Hartford another team. Listen, I'm from that area, okay? Look at how many freaking teams you have near. Here's Hartford right here. Look at how many freaking teams you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to throw the Capitals in? Fine. There's 9. You have 9 teams in the Northeast. Hartford has no TV coverage either. Yeah, buddy. He's getting hungry. So, yeah, buddy. So we're gonna check in with our buddy here. It's our check in with our buddy here. Oh, geez. Hey, buddy. Oh, for God's sake, the camera is. Yeah, this is repelling cam. Hey, buddy. How you doing? It's Cat Cam. You're on Cat Cam, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. So don't want to expose that. So Whalers already have money problems. I was on a call-in show with two local sports writers, and they were trying to concoct ways for the Whalers to become more popular. Well, maybe they should play more teams at the New Haven Coliseum. Maybe they should play games. They should do this. Maybe they should do that. Maybe they should change the name to the Connecticut Whalers. Make them feel more like the state's team. Maybe they should change uniforms. Maybe they should get this guy. They should get that guy. And I called in and said, yeah, this team doesn't want to win. They're shaping up to be moved and sold because the ownership is trying to drive down the attendance to the point where they can sell them and with someone to come in and move them. And sure enough, later that summer, the Whalers were sold. Oh, no, they want to win. They just don't know how. So like I said, Omaha doesn't make sense. If anything, Milwaukee makes more sense. Got Nebraska. I mean, really, is it going to be? The places that make sense right now are probably Houston, New Orleans. I would think Milwaukee makes more sense. And probably, I wouldn't say Jacksonville. No, Jacksonville wouldn't make sense. So, yeah, Houston, Milwaukee, New Orleans, maybe Portland make more sense for the NHL putting a team down. So, okay, well, anyway, so that's with that. We'll discuss that. Let's take a look. Now, we have someone, San Antonio. San Antonio does make some sense. She had a hockey team in Houston and New Orleans. Market's already saturated with NHL teams. Well, that's the big problem. That's the big problem is that, listen, you have a lot of teams that there's over 1 million. That's actually pretty good. Yeah. That's actually not a bad market to discuss. It's pretty much in the center it's centrally located. So sets up a rivalry with Dallas. And Phoenix. But the big problem is, though, you're going to have a situation where you're going to have teams traveling east to play a team in the Western Conference at some point. You're going to have to do some realignment here. I mean, you're going to have to do some realignment. Cleveland, I still don't understand why Columbus got a team. I really still don't understand why Columbus got a team. There's Kentucky. I think Cincinnati maybe would support a team. Maybe Indianapolis would support a team. I don't know. I really don't know. It's hard to say. It really is tough to say. Hockey team in Alaska. That would be difficult. Where would you put them? Where would you put it in Juneau? I mean, would you put it yeah, Cleveland has an AHL team. I mean, really, it's a tough. Hockey's a tough sell. You have to have people willing to fork over the cash to. If you've never seen a hockey game, I'm not saying it's impossible to become a fan. Anchorage. How big of a city is Anchorage? Anchorage has a population of 282,121. Well, the other problem is getting. I mean, the other problem with Anchorage, Alaska is maybe getting getting guys to play there. That's the other problem. I mean, how do you entice guys to play in Anchorage when they can go play in Vegas? Yeah, like I said, the travel would be the only other team. The location that is off the table is probably Hawaii, just because of the travel, how remote it is. Maybe someday Anchorage or Honolulu will get a team. Who knows? Who's to say? Yeah, and that's the other problem. You have to compete with things like the NCAA basketball, high school football in the South. I mean, high school football is huge in the South. Northeast, not so much. I mean, so our friend Peg Leg Pete sent us this. This was the original art for the San Jose Sharks, apparently. And we'll share that with you. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. The monocle, carrying the hockey stick. That is actually pretty cool. It's become an owner, yeah, and it costs a lot of money, yeah. There's a lot of startup costs involved with the team. Okay, so we've been going for an hour and 18 minutes, but that is actually pretty cool. I like that. The colors are actually still the same. The teal and the black and the white. I love it. I love hockey jerseys. I really do. I love hockey jerseys. I got one from the Swedish team, Fjärrstad BK. All right. So we are coming up on 1 hour, 20 minutes. Hope everybody liked hockey talk. Sharks, one of the best expansion teams ever. Let me tell you, they did an outstanding job. They've done an outstanding job with that team since day one. They really did. I mean, I remember walking into stores here, seeing Sharks jerseys. I'm like, wow, that is cool. They had a cool name, cool logo, cool uniforms. Everything about that team was cool. I mean, the Sharks are, They've been around 25 years. San Jose Sharks popularity. Let me see. How popular are the Sharks? Sharks are very popular. San Jose, yes. No idea. Somewhat. However, we'll say Sharks are by far more popular than the Bay and their Kings and Ducks. Massive in San Jose, not at all in the Bay as a whole. But San Jose is the opposite of people willing. But in San Jose, it's the opposite. People will turn off baseball, put the Sharks on. So yeah, so the Sharks ownership really deserves a lot of praise because yeah, oh yeah. It was the Gund family, yeah, responsible for that. So the Sharks ownership really deserves a lot of praise in that they came into a new market and they've really made it work. I mean, they did everything right. Again, we'll bring this back up here. There's the monocle and the top hat from the Cleveland Barons. Anaheim always seemed jokey. Thanks again, Disney. Yes, they did. They did a great job on that. So, okay. So, anyway, everyone. We are coming up on 1 hour 22 minutes. Let's do a little animal news here since we're on sharks. If anyone has been wondering what happened to the Queen's corgis, well, they're in good hands. The Queen's corgis are being well cared for and well loved by Sarah Ferguson. Sarah Ferguson claims Queen's ghost haunts the corgis. They bark at nothing. Not even death can keep the late Queen Elizabeth II from seeing her beloved corgis. According to Sarah Ferguson, 63, said Elizabeth's corgis, Sandy and Muick, bark at nothing when they sense the Queen's spirit is near. The Duchess of York and her ex-husband, Prince Andrew, 63, inherited the dogs after the monarch died in September. They are national icons, so every time they run chasing a squirrel, I panic. Ferguson told People in a recent profile, but they're total joys, and I always think that when they bark at nothing, there is no squirrels in sight. I believe it's because the Queen is passing by. The most intriguing lady author shared. So there's the Queen. Hello. The young Victoria. So she went on. They're with me a lot, and they think I'm very funny. The young Victoria produced also reflected the Queen's late historic. Okay, more about the Queen, a staircase. And there's the doggies. During the Henley Literary Festival, she described the adoption as a big honor and called the corgis a national treasure, adding they were well taught. She joked, they balance out. The carpet moves as I move, but I got used to it now. Andrew and Fergie also live in Andrew Fergie also owned 5 Norfolk Terriers in addition to the corgis. The Duke of York appears to have similarly affectionate relationship with the corgis and was photographed comforting them during his mother's funeral on September 19th. His relationship with the royal family is alleged to be more strained. He was stripped of his royal duties in 2019 due to his connection to a convicted, Jeffrey Epstein, and is reportedly insulted that his elder brother, King Charles III, is making him move from the Royal Lodge at Frogmore to Frogmore College. So there's the doggies. They're well cared for. Who doesn't like a good dog story? Oh, looky, hello, Mom. And there's the corgis, and they're happy. So the doggies are happy. So that's how we go. That's how we're going to end it this week. Happy doggies. The official mice catcher. So there we go. Happy doggies. We're going to end it right there with a happy dog story. everyone. I'd like to thank everyone in the chat. Michael Keller, Cesaro, Japan, Artie Cat, 0811, Anthony Way, Michael Keller again, Senior Sticks, Peckling Pete, thank you for the artwork. Clint Matthews, Morbid Fury, Senior Sticks, Tree Rock Creations, Holocron Records. I'm glad you were able to hang out with us, and thank you very much. Who else am I leaving out? Donnie Pearson, anyway, Michael Gill, everybody, we got 25, we got 30, 25, sold. Andrew Helm, thank you, everybody. B, that's all, folks. Everyone, thank you. Thank you for joining us. The kitty is hungry. I need more coffee. That's the last thing I probably need. Everyone, we'll be back with more Hitman or more video game streams. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. As if you didn't do this, I'd be talking to myself. Take care of yourselves. No drinking, no driving. We want to see you here next time. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a good Monday. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good night. Have a good everything. And as always, we will catch you next time. Naranja, want to say goodbye? Want to say goodbye to everybody? Naranja, buddy. Want to say bye to everybody? Here, say bye to everybody. Say bye. Say bye-bye. No? All right. Everybody. Our buddy Agent Orange Cat bids you all adieu, and we will, if I can bring up the video, catch you next time.